G'day guys, Hellcat007 here, and today I'm going to be bringing back a series that I did do when I first started YouTube, but I did end up getting rid of it because of how bad it was. So this is a remastered version, except I do have a laptop now, so I will be able to show you how to save files properly and what they look like when they're done. Yeah, so without further ado, so let's just get straight into it. So the first thing you're going to be writing in, actually before we even start writing the code, I have to tell you guys what it is. So before starting the video, I have gone ahead and I have made a parent file where our website will be kept, where our static web page will be kept, and then inside this I have the index.html file, which is what we will be editing and is the face of our static web page. So I'm going to set it to only open with Chrome. And then I've got an images file in here, which I have gone ahead already and got an image, saved an image for our background. And then we've also got a CSS file, which we will be adding in later. So back in Notepad++, sorry, if we open up the index.html, I'll show you guys how to actually save that. So when you open up Notepad++, the link will be in the description. You will have a file that looks like this. It will just open up with a new one. So what you want to do is go to the language, hit H, then HTML. It will change down here to hypertext markup language, which is what HTML stands for. And then you're going to go in the file, save as, find your parent file, and then you're just going to drop it straight in there. So what you name it is index.html. Now that's what you have to name it. You cannot name it anything else. But any other HTML files that you do add in afterwards can be named whatever you want them to. Just make them formal names, not stupid names. So nothing like bluefairy.html. You want it to be like contactus.html or gallery.html, depending on what they are based on, just so Google doesn't have a hard time finding what it's looking for or what you specify in a hyperlink on a navigation bar. So in any HTML file, the first thing you're going to do is have a less than symbol, and then exclamation mark, doc type, capitalized doc type, and then HTML, and then a greater than symbol. What this does is specify what language the file is written in. So then the browser reads this, the browser's robots read this, and it tells the browser what language it should expect the file to be in, basically. So by specifying doc type HTML, the document type is a HTML file, so the browser will recognize it and expect it to be a structured HTML page, or web page, in those terms. And then after doc type HTML, you're going to put less than HTML space lang, short for language, equal sign, double quote, and then the greater than symbol. Then in between the double quote, depending on what language you speak, you're going to put in those region codes. They should be 2 letters. So language codes. So for English, it's going to be EN. After your opening HTML tag, so the opening HTML tag and the closing HTML tag are the start and end of a full web page. So my website, all this that you see here, all the way until down here, is inside the opening and closing HTML tag, even including all this up here, which is in a head tag as well, which is what we're just about to do. So you can see here index.html is the default thing. So what we're going to do is name the site, the static web page. So to do that, we're going to have the opening head tag, and then under that we're going to have an opening title tag. Now I say opening because they are the opening tags, and there's also the closing tags. And the difference between the two is a / in the closing tag. So the opening tag is literally less than in the tag name, and then a greater than. And then that's your opening tag. But a closing tag is a less than, a / then the tag name, and then the greater than. And that's your difference between opening and closing tags, which you will find throughout a whole web page. So everywhere you look, there will be opening and closing tag, except for image tags, the doctype HTML tag, metadata tags, and that's about it. So in the title, what we're going to name the site, well, for this one, for the video purposes, I'm going to be naming it static web page. And then we got the closing title tag. And then in here, since in this video we're not actually going to be doing styling just yet. We're going to be doing the basic structure of a web page in the video. Then in the next video we're going to be doing text tags and whatnot. And then this series is this topic or subject is actually going to be spanned across the different a few different sets of series. So depending on what language we learn is a different series. So for HTML, this will be one series, but different videos splitting up individual HTML elements and sections of things that you need to learn in this language. And then CSS is a different series with those sets broken up. Well, CSS really is just one on its own because it is a styling language. CSS is cascading style sheets, and HTML is hypertext markup language. So for this HTML tag, it's just for this HTML video right now, it is a basic structure tutorial. For the next HTML tag, it's going to be text tags, and then after that we get into images and stuff. So, or I'll throw them. So any other tag like text tags, images, and other ones, hyperlinks and stuff, we're going to be adding in into the next video. And then after that, we're going to be starting on the CSS, which is basic styling of a web page. So, and the thing about HTML and CSS is the fact that frequently you will find, well, actually not frequently, but sometimes you'll find CSS integrated into a HTML file or HTML. It's not a script, but it will be a file. So after putting in the closing title tag, we're going to be closing head tag under that. So now that sets the so now if we just hit refresh, you can see that the tab changes to static web page. After that, we're going to make another new line. Also, new lines do make it tidy. Another way to make it tidy is putting in comments. Now, a HTML comment consists of less than, exclamation mark, dash, 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 greater than. Now, in between the 4 dashes, you're gonna try and like that, and then you can say start of HTML page, or well, start of HTML file, like that, and then you've got another one in here. Although what I like to do is put them directly on top of the tag itself. So on here, so we got the same one. Like that. Then in here we can have the head section like this. Now comments, these are single line comments, as you can see, but another, you can actually do this as multiple comments like that. So you can say this here is a comment. Now as long as this text is green, then you know it's a comment. but if it's any other color, then something went wrong. So then you're gonna have body section comment. So you can just say it's like that, and under that, so we're gonna have the opening body tag. Now there is more you can add to the body tag, but that'll all be in a different video. Now we got the end of a HTML, so we now have text, text, images, hyperlinks, etc. go in here. Now, so keep that there, and then you're going to have a closing body tag and a closing HTML tag. So that is the actual, with all the text tags, with all the dividing boxes or div boxes, with all the images and without all the links and that, this is what a web page will look like. This is actually what it'll look like. Well, apart from this as well, this is what a full page will look like. This is how it all starts for any web page. This is all how it starts. But then if I go back in here and I check that back in, that's the start of a text tag. The title here is actually a text tag, but it's located in the head section, and it does not provide any informational things. So I won't consider it a text tag. I'll consider it as a HTML tag, which all tags are, including text tags, but this is an actual HTML tag to display the title of a tab or a web page. So it is quite legal to put in this video. Now, in the body, just so this video is not too short, I am going to throw in an extra tag in here and show you how to basic style it, and as I was saying before about how CSS links into HTML. And it's also what I'm going to show you in this next element. Now this itself is not a styling or a text tag, but it's actually a structural tag. Again, HTML is a structuring tag. So we're going to put in less than, and then div space. We're going to put it in a class, and that's quite legal to put in the video because classes are also HTML tag to help with structuring, but they do link back to CSS, which we will need. So class is I also forgot to tell you guys about colors of the syntax here. These tags are called syntax. So if it's blue like that, if it's blue like this, it is a tag or a HTML tag. If it is red, it's an attribute, and then if it's purple, it is a value. So that's how your basic tags will look. So we got the tag here, which is blue. Then we got the red class, which is an attribute. Then we're going to have the purple name, which is the value. So we're going to name this. If you're going to be naming classes, images, secondary HTML files, or multiple HTML files, you need to have formal names for them so that Google can read it easily, or the browser can read it easily. Whereas if you've got really messed up names like Blue Fairy or Green Tooth, whatever, or Red Dragon or whatever, then it's going to be it's going to look very unprofessional. It's not going to look tidy, and the browser is going to struggle, most likely. So when naming classes and stuff, you want to be able to keep them formal names. So div class, we're going to have main. I'm going to call it main because it's basically the main elements of this page that I'm making. Then you're going to have a line, and then 2 quotes, and then we're going to align it to the center, and then we're going to have style. Now the style, this is a styling tag, but it's a HTML styling tag for a div box. Now here is where CSS is integrated into HTML. So when you're styling with CSS, it all consists of what you're styling, and then your colons and semicolons for the elements, or well, the values. So when we have the div class, when we got the div box here, the first thing in the style we're going to have is colon, boxed, semicolon. Now that is a very valid styling tag. And you see, after that, if we want to set the background color, which we won't because that'll be styling, same color, we're going to be setting margins. So margins will be margin dash left, and then colon, and we'll put this one in at 20%. Now 20%, the percentages are different from pixels. So my laptop screen is 1366 pixels across on the x-axis, so that's how wide it is. So 20% of 1666 is 273 pixels roughly. And then so if I wanted a margin left and set it as a pixel, I would set 273 pixels px, which is not what I want to do, because if you do make this into a full website online, and that if you're going to open it up on a device such as a phone or a tablet, if you've got a margin set as a pixel, then it's going to try and set that same amount of pixels in the device that you've got, so it's going to be all squashed up. And that's a mistake I did with my website. I had it set at a pixel count, so on my phone it was actually quite squashed over. It was actually quite squashed into itself, and it did not look attractive at all. By then I changed the margins to percentages, and now it will come up on a phone quite good, because percentages are telling the browser to set that particular element to that percentage of any screen. So with pixels, you're setting it to how many pixels for every screen that you view the site on, and then percentages is just setting it to how much of the screen is covered on that device. There's a little bit of a warning for you. So margin left at 20% will bring a margin left to 273 pixels roughly. And then we're going to set margin right. I actually set the width to 600 pixels. And the margin right will keep it at 20% as well. Now actually, if we do want to be able to see a div box, we do have to set a background color, and that's actually going to help us in the long run. So this will also be a valid HTML tag for this video. So background color, we're gonna put it as a red, like that, so then we can see what it is. Then after the 20% colon, semicolon, then we're gonna have margin top, and I'm gonna set that at 5% colon. Now when we redo this, did I say that? Yeah. Okay, so something, oh yeah, I forgot to put in the closing div tag. Thank you guys for telling me. So like that. It's still not working. Okay. Okay. What did I do wrong? you are going to most definitely run into these sorts of problems, so you're better off again, even in a rehearsal, I forgot to set the height and the width. Now the width comes first, same as a y-axis before, same as an x-axis before a y-axis. X is across, and then y is straight up and down. Okay, so width is the x-axis, so it goes across. So I'm going to set it to 600 pixels. Or you can set this one as a percentage as well. So if I want the width to cover 60% of the screen, I will set it to 60%, which is what I will do. And then the height, I'm going to set at another percentage. So I'm going to set the height at about 30%. Now if we save that, how big is it? And it doesn't want to work. Funny. So let me change this back to pixels, and I'll make this at 200 pixels, like so. Now we have our box, and you can see that it's way off center. So this is centered now. This div box is actually centered, and I did that with the margin. So as long, now I'm pretty sure what I did wrong was the fact that I had extra space left over after setting a margin. So by setting the left margin at 20%, that means it was pushed 20% this to the right from the left side as a margin. And then because I had the margin right also at 20% and 15%, I was only pushing it there. But the width of the div box is actually smaller than the rest of the space I had left to cover. So that's what I think I did wrong there. So now that that's fixed, I can make the margins bigger to fit. Like that. So actually we will bring it down to 25%. 30% is a little bit too big. Let me just scoot across back here and throw in 25. So that took extra long than what I thought, so there's a perfect size. Body, screw it, we're just going to throw in a BG color very quickly. So body is just consists of BG color, spelled the American way. We have no Australian spellings in this, apart from any proper text, such as like an actual paragraph text, like this up the top in the title here. But when you're actually writing the code for it, we cannot spell it the I will say Australian way, because I don't know any other country that spells it with a U. So as long as we have COLOR, and then we can set it. So I'm going to set it at light green. Light green is a default color for me because it's readable and you can see exactly what's going on as a thing. So with that in there, you can see that we've actually created our first static web page, even if there's no text. As long as there's a div box and a background color, then it's actually a full web page. But in the next video is when we get on to adding text in here and adding more div boxes and things. So if we now go back into here and we open it, okay, hold on a sec, I gotta go back in here and open it, it'll also be the same. And no matter what size the window is, since we set the margin, that div box is always going to be pushed over 30% of the screen. So no matter how high or how small we had the window, or how big we have the window, it's always going to be pushed into the center of the screen with the same 30% margins, 25% margin, sorry. Again, as you can see. So any text that we do add, however, will be pushed down and possibly overflow the div box as we set the height. But we can also set the height as a percentage as well to cover that much of the screen, and it will keep that much of the screen as we go along. So with that as our first static web page, I'm going to leave the video at that. So again, in the next video we're going to be learning text tags and CSS styling. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, leave a like and subscribe. If you want to see more, well, I'll do more anyway, you just leave a comment down below. Again, if you do need to contact me, there are two ways. You can either attempt to contact me from the comment section, or you can go over to my website at www.lucasmccleary.com, scroll down to want me to create a website for you, and then it's also got in the note, if you need to contact me, please fill out the same fields below. So just enter your name. So for me, it'd just be that. My email, so we'll just go with lucas0243 at gmail.com, and then we have the message. I need to change this, by the way. I need to change the default font. Hello me, whatever, and then just hit send, and then it will tell you either it'll come to the PHP file that I created. We will get to PHP eventually throughout this series. PHP is very, very hard though. For me anyway, maybe not for you guys, but it will say email sent successfully if it did. If not, it will say, I can't remember what it says, yeah, and then it says down here, because I don't actually know how to get it to redirect back to mccleary.com without index.html. So again, I'm not sure how to actually do that. I mean, I think I know, but if I do as I read for redirecting, it does not display any of this and instead redirects straight back to the web page. So if any of you guys actually can help me with that, I'd be glad. I'd be very, very happy to talk to you. So in a sec, I will be getting a Gmail from me. And then we got the social media down here that you guys can follow me on, so please do that as well. So just go back into Gmail here so we can close that, and we have the one from me, website contact submission. So PHP is actually put my name here and the email address, and then hello me. So that's thing. So yeah, so again, thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next video.